Well, it's wonderful that we had so many people come out. That's great to see. And, my goal here today is actually to push you outside of your comfort zone. Let's see. Well, I began working on Torizon, or at least some of the really early ideas that would over time become Torizon, almost 6 years ago. And, well, it turns out that great things take time. But around the same time, also started some of the early work around continuous integration and test automation at Toradex. These were proof of concepts, prototypes, and well, it's another case where great things take time. And I really can't take a lot of credit for it because at Toradex we've had just so many great people bringing their thoughts, intelligence, also sweat and tears to building out these capabilities. But I bring them both up because these two threads are intertwined. The Torizon, DevOps, automation. I had been a field application engineer and later also a solutions architect, working closely with our customers, and we kind of got a feel for the pain points, the challenges that they were facing. And we did an extensive analysis, collected a lot of data about the needs of our customers, also looking at the market, broader prospective customer needs. And we collected quite some data. I'm going to share some of that with you here. These are just a few data points, but I think it helps paint a picture. You'll see that 97% have, and these are largely customers that we had surveyed, have had deployed products with data connectivity, 53% which had internet connectivity, 90.3% which had a need to update software on deployed devices, 76% that wanted to be able to update them remotely, and approximately 60% who were considering cloud-based device management, monitoring, and updates. And we also asked a lot about security as well, but instead of going into all that data, I'll just summarize it by saying all but about 4% had some form of security concerns. And this is data from 2018, so things may have changed, but even back then, we came to some conclusions. For one, IoT seemed to be more than just a buzz. Now, we had predicted that was the case, but it was clear that IoT was a real thing, in consumer, in home automation, some of these areas. But in some of the industries that we were working directly with, it was hard to tell if really everything was going to become connected. But the data was showing us that actually it was. The other thing that was clear is security is increasingly a concern. Of course, these devices being connected are now subject to a much broader threat surface, and many of our customers are not security experts themselves. So it was clear now that they were concerned about security and didn't exactly know how to address all of the issues there. And finally, complexity was compounding. Not only are these devices becoming more connected, they're exposed to more threats. The technology itself was also becoming more complex, and so it really just led to a great deal of complexity, which many of our customers were increasingly struggle to deliver a high-quality product that they could also get to market on time and in the time frame that they had wanted. Yeah, and so this is maybe a bit of how we envisioned the future. In the present at the time, we saw many customers of ours who were, iterating slowly. Even, I would say some had this model we could describe as ship it and forget it. In the future, we saw really the need that they would be delivering rapidly. The complexity, the connectivity, security all require that we can react quickly and improve on our products even once they've been delivered. We saw that without connectivity or without connected services, issues are often being reported to our customers through customers, and usually frustrated customers. That's frustration was usually what led to actually getting feedback from the field. But in the future, we see that with connectivity, with IoT services, really many of our customers could be detecting issues very early, maybe even before their users. And how were they troubleshooting those devices? Well, generally it meant going into the field and having to do that individually. Whereas in the future, with connectivity and the right kind of services, could be done remotely. And updates were usually done rarely. Like I said, usually people are trying to avoid having to update systems. They see it as a giant risk. And so usually updates were happening only when issues were catastrophic. But if we can reduce the risk, reduce the friction, provide reliable services, really the idea is people could update anytime. And usually those updates were deployed via physical media, but again, with connectivity, we can deliver those via network or the internet. And devices were often being managed really on an individual basis. Because you have to go in the field and individually update them or troubleshoot them, we kind of liken that to having a lot of pets to take care of. And in the future, we think instead of pets, treat it more like cattle or a fleet, which is where you can automate and perform operations across all the devices uniformly in a more controlled manner and much more efficiently.